So you first start off with a pledge and then open up the meeting.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, so it's a song one.
God bless you.
Oh, Al, asking, just really take down the members that are here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave me that. Right there.
So these are all the phones.
Yep. All right, so I think we'll begin the start the meeting 6:43 p.m. January 25th at Miller Center. Pull it off. So yeah, for the I'm gonna lose. Oh, so first off, just to kind of sorry with this. So the agenda that we have is we're going to authorize this tentative agenda, authorize the executive committee to go ahead and endorse the city council, any other city council candidates that may not be here in other wards that would be uncontested from a Republican currently. So we're not there's other city council candidates who are here who won't be overriding any other endorsement, but that's that first item. And then along with that, obviously finalize the candidates who are here and make sure you get those endorsements through. And I just realized I did forget I did all those packets of blank papers, so.
Oh, okay, well, I think.
I don't know, do you guys
Joel
have
has
your
a copy
paper?
and
Okay.
Kurt does, so we
All
should
right,
all set with
okay.
that. Could you just, we'll just go down the list, and
Yep.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
go on the
who
list.
here might be a committee member that I don't have. So I've got Kurt, Tony, Michael, Karen, Paco, and myself, and then Sherry. Anyone else here a committee member that I?
I'm not sure, are we on the list? Sorry.
Kathy Sarek.
I don't believe so. Were you at the caucus back in the fall, in
Can't
October?
remember.
Oh, here it is.
So yeah, I have Michael?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, what's your last name?
Sarback.
Sorry,
Sarah.
did they get voted in?
I don't. Can we?
Doesn't look like it.
Can we add them now?
Not without a quorum.
Okay, not without a quorum.
Oh, and then who's present on the line?
Is someone on the phone line? You guys hear us? Oh, okay. Pam's on the phone line. All right, awesome. Thanks, Pam.
She can vote with.
Yeah.
And are you with John too? Oh,
Okay, shortly. All right, so Pam and John.
So Pam and John. Okay.
And then I think we're waiting on
Yep.
Jason on the line.
Looks like. Yeah, sorry, Pam. I hope you can hear us, but.
Would you be able to get Jason on the line?
I'm gonna need it for quorum.
Might try to-
We're, see, short one for quorum of committee.
Well, she's on.
Yeah. So why don't I?
She makes 10.
Yeah, I
Pam
can
and
call
John.
David too.
That's true. We've got David. Okay, so why don't
Yeah.
while we're doing that, why don't I?
Someone else can get David on the line. I know he.
Don't we need a quorum in order to add them?
Saying, isn't she make 10?
No, she and John make 9. Jason will make 10 though. No,
Okay. I was trying to get this.
All right, so while we
We are live on channel 17. I've already done.
yeah. So while we get
All right. Sorry about that, Pam.
That
I think.
in,
Okay.
I'll explain the
I
intent
got
of
to
the
a
motion.
better.
And I'm not going to make the motion yet, but just to
better.
explain what we're
There we
going to
go.
do. So,
Better now.
again, Joel and Kurt have announced, and so we can issue endorsements tonight. But then what we've done historically is empower the chair to endorse another candidate that materializes as he sees fit, with the one stipulation being that he do that in consultation with at least one of the other officers. That's Jason's the vice chair, David Kirk is the treasurer, I'm the secretary. So it would be in consultation with at least one of us. And that's just so that we can do it on a split second before Monday at 5.
Yeah, so kind of, make it, because the, bylaws are, you have to kind of go through these things, and if we do this, we'll be able to
Right.
do
Because-
that and make sure we can, get more candidates
Because
out.
Paco can't just issue an endorsement on his own, obviously,
Right,
without
unless you kind of
everyone's
make this
permission.
exception.
So once we get Jason on the line.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions or thoughts on that?
So, so basically, him along with one other person can make a decision for everyone?
Yeah, for the wards that aren't, for the wards that we don't have candidates, we won't have candidates in tonight.
So you can endorse a candidate from
You're
another
saying
party.
he and another officer.
For another, yeah, I don't think that was the plan from
Well-
another party. That wasn't
So then
stipulated.
we can add that, that can be another
But-
amendment, that it would not be someone who also has been endorsed by another party. If someone was
Yeah,
at-
yeah, if someone came from Ward 1 or something, if there's, because there are tentatively other candidates out there who are here today in, not in wards that any of you guys represent, but just so that we could do that over the weekend.
If we were to
Does
get
that-
someone to commit.
Yeah.
Does that concern anybody in here?
It concerns me a little. Because somebody might be endorsed that I would be a nay to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's how it's gonna play out, then that's how it's gonna play out.
It
But
could be a
it-
reasonable concern.
Can we say that it can only be a Republican that we would endorse?
Yeah, maybe,
Not anybody from any other party?
Paco, Mr. Chair,
yes.
it's always been a tradition, every single meeting that I've ever been at, that we authorize the chair, working with the city committee, working with the other officers, that if there is another candidate comes forward, we allow them to, they're not gonna endorse somebody that is, not a credible person. And if we don't do that, we're saying that if a Republican comes forward, they won't be endorsed by Republicans. I think it should be clear that we should do that, we do it every time.
The committee used to authorize me,
And me. Yeah, both you and I.
but I mean,
definitely.
before, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know that there was
It's
a,
always
there
been
was
done.
a second.
Okay, so it would
Well,
only be a
it would only be a
Republican candidate?
Republican.
Right.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would
Oh,
never,
yeah,
it
yeah,
wouldn't
it
be
wouldn't
like,
be a Democrat
Well,
or
that's
someone
why
looking for
the
both.
question has been raised, and I think we're being evasive to the person who's raised this concern, that I challenged this last spring, that Dave Hartnett was put before us. And I strongly, strongly oppose this. That Dave Hartnett has never been a Republican, has never boasted
yeah,
that
but
he
he
was.
was there
That-
then.
that-
She's,
the committee
they're
voted on
talking
that,
about,
Yeah,
they're talking about,
But this is the way that this plays out.
yeah.
And your concern was registered at the time, and we had a vote of the city committee, and the city committee voted
Mhm.
not that Dave would be running as a Republican, but that he would get an endorsement, and he ran as a D/R.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
and so to make it clear, we will not be planning on issuing an endorsement to anyone that it has already announced, say, as a Democrat or a progressive. The intention is solely that if a Republican were to come forward and wanted to run as a Republican, that they could, that Paco would be authorized by you all to sign his papers to run with an R next to his name, just an R.
right.
And saying that we don't want that to be done says
is that what
you-
you're concerned with?
That was my concern.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Absolutely my concern,
But
because
you
I don't
understand-
want someone that's gonna play all the parties.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
happen.
definitely.
And you
That's what
understand
we're-
what I'm saying, that if
that's
we
exactly what
don't
we're
do
trying
that,
to avoid.
and
Right.
Republicans, we're still looking for a candidate, if that person comes forward, we won't be able to do it.
Absolutely,
So-
I'm glad that you guys clarified that, because that was my concern.
Okay, thank you, Sherry.
So you're very clear on that now?
Yes,
Okay. I wanted to make sure that that was something.
That's fair.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so can we get an update? Who's on the line now?
I think it's still just Pam, it looks like.
Okay.
And I wanna ask, just to be clear, we know, because we have to make sure that it's done right. We know that someone can be on the phone and is able to participate as a committee member so that we have a quorum.
Yes, they may not vote by proxy, so Jason
That's been
can,
confirmed by who? The state party or?
bylaws.
Okay. All right, so I think you want to entertain a motion at this point, right?
Yeah,
That person is.
Yeah, do we have 10?
until we get Jason on the line, I think we're short.
Okay. Here, I can see if David said he'd call in, so.
Okay, why don't we get David on the line?
Yeah, I'll
then?
just.
So in the
yeah.
meantime, why don't we give Joel a second? Joel, do you have anything you wanted to, I think for a lot of people, this might be the first time they've met you, so anything you want to share?
I can introduce myself. My name is Joel Fitzgerald. I've been a Burlington resident for about 20 years. I lived in the New North End for 10 of those years, and then 10 years ago I moved to the South End. So I think, both experiences in the city of Burlington helps me in dealing with all Burlington residents because I see both sides, and all the different issues. I see the issues that you guys are working with down here, and I see the issues that we're dealing with up there. I live on Glen Road, which is very close to the Lund home, which, there's a lot of conversations going around about the drug problems and all that stuff. So, I'm looking at this stuff every day, and I see it every day. It's a concern of mine every day. The possible 10% increase in taxes was really concerning to me, as I'm sure it is to everybody else. The recent actions of the Burlington School Board, to me, were really troubling. So I think I have a lot of interest in that. I worked for the Burlington School District for 9 years, so that gives me a little experience on the intertwines of the Burlington School District, and it gives me experience there. I am the son of a 20-year Air Force retiree that's 86, so Social Security, the elder, are an issue for me. The F-35s are an issue for me. I am a supporter of the F-35s. So I think my experience in my time in Burlington is well-rounded me to be a great candidate. So that's all that I have. We have children that have gone through college, going through college. So tuition and jobs. I have 2 older kids that were born here, educated here, couldn't get a job here, so they're now in Virginia, and I'd love to have them home. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get them home and to keep all your children home, so you don't have to experience what we have to experience. So again, hopefully these life lessons will help me be a good candidate to serve all the people of Burlington, not just Ward 6. So.
I make a motion to endorse Joel as a Republican.
A second.
All right, all in favor of endorsing Joel?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the Ackersons.
Zackersons and
David Kirk.
Yep.
All right, there we go. All right, Joel,
All right.
congratulations.
Thank you.
I think there's another candidate in the room.
Kurt Wright, I'm the Ward 4 City Councilor as well as a state representative. I'm excited to be running for re-election. I've been on the council different periods of time over the years, and as I said, I'm excited to be running again to continue to work on issues like permit reform, which I think are going to be making some serious progress in streamlining the permit system and hopefully turning it into a one-stop shop. Right now, people are going to different places. We've heard that repeatedly by people. There's too many hoops to jump through just to improve your own property. I'm concerned about the cost of living in Burlington, as Joel said, the near double-digit increase that we're looking at now from the schools. But I'm excited to continue to represent Ward 4 if I'm fortunate enough to be re-elected in March. And when we talk about Joel mentioned the F-35, let me just give you a little update on where we are with that. There are citizens that have turned in petitions, over 2,700 petitions to put a question on about the F-35. That issue has been considered to be a settled issue. We dealt with that 4 years ago, but they want to have an advisory question on the ballot. Now, the city council can reject a petition effort by citizens, but we try to put citizen-led petition questions on the ballot that are advisory. I think there's some concern about this one because it's reigniting a divisive debate at a time that we've really moved on this particular issue. However, in South Burlington, there's been a court case that was brought up in regard to the rebel question, the nickname of the South Burlington school, Rebels. That went to court, and they ruled with the citizens that they should have put that on the ballot. So the city council, I think, is going to feel obligated, because we'll be going to court and we'll probably face the same judge and the same thing will happen. So we probably will be obligated to put that question on the ballot. I think that we are going to try to make a change to what they put forth, because I don't think it's fair for them to have put a ballot question on that says, as supporters of the men and women of the Air National Guard, we're putting this question on. Because I know some members of the Air Guard that live in Ward 4 and other places, and I've talked to them, and they do not consider this to be friendly to them or their jobs, and no one that they know that's in the Air Guard feels that it is a friendly thing to them. They think that their jobs will go away, and the Air Guard will eventually go away from Vermont if this happens. So I have proposed removing that. I'm sure that the petitioners will object to that, but I think that's fair, because I think it's misleading
Absolutely.
to put something on the ballot that says, and I think we need to make sure
And
that
how can
if
they
we
take
do
that
put
as
something on the
voters?
ballot, that it's clear to voters what it is, and that to say that this is an effort on behalf of the Air Guard could make people think by voting that way, they're supporting.
How
And it should
how
say-
could they even come up with that? Because
We,
they,
the people who dislike the military.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, David.
I don't understand
All
how
right.
they can
Yeah,
speak for
There
them
we go, back.
without having some kind of a vote from the air. How dare, in other words, how dare they say that?
Well, that's why I've proposed, and we will be taking that up to eliminate that language from it, and
Absolutely.
I would frankly rather
Well,
face.
plus, they didn't, I don't understand how they can think they're speaking for those people unless they've taken a vote from those people and said,
I would
we're
frankly
speaking for
rather
them."
face
They
them
can't-
taking it to court than to put something on the ballot that is, I find
It's
to
a
be
lie.
misleading.
It's completely a lie.
But
You're
we'll
being
be dealing,
kind
we'll
calling
be
it
dealing with that
misleading.
Monday night. So I think that's,
Unreal.
I'd just like to offer this for you to take this back to the council and for the members of the room as a retiree of that unit, of many years of knowing a lot about how that area of the world works. Just so that you know, if the Air Guard was to be, pushed hard with the politics of this, that it's a public pushback, that the South Burlington and the Burlington communities are trying to challenge their support on it, and the Air Force or somebody says that, we don't want to support you, it's as simple as this. If the Air Force pulls the support on the mission for that plane, for the F-35, it's as simple as this. The Air Guard in Vermont won't have a mission, and it will just dry up the base, because they're not gonna come around, they're gonna say, we're gonna retrain you, we're gonna give you big airplanes of this or that. So you're gonna just put the sword to that, and it's gonna involve thousands of people on the base who have a primary job, and then it's gonna involve thousands and thousands of support and families that are affected, Vermont, New Hampshire, and New York.
It creates a
So-
And they've already put
It's-
millions into the infrastructure.
The infrastructure is one thing. Just look at anybody that's old enough to remember when Plattsburgh Air Force Base was going, and they had just put, millions and millions into that base. They just rebuilt the hospital, the commissary, and all this other infrastructure. And then they weren't even on the base realignment and closure committee. And then some politics happened in New Jersey, and McGuire was supposed to be shut down, and all of a sudden, everything was shifted to close down Plattsburgh. I'm just saying is, you don't want to be on the end of trying to be popular with who you think might be the ones that are on the petition.
Well, I think one of the things that, and I don't know if I can speak now, but I really support in giving our troops the best tools we can to have them do their jobs. And you know, frankly, the F-16 is outlived its lifespan, and you know, to me, it's not. I mean, it's about jobs, yes, but it's also, you know, giving our troops the tools to do their job. And if we don't do that, we're going to fall behind. And like you say, this base is going to lose its purpose, and then it's going to create the vacuum, and it's all going to go away. But we need to give our troops the tools to do their jobs.
And it's
Right.
an honor for Vermont to be selected.
Right,
Right.
and let me just finish my thing, and we probably then need a motion on my. Carry away on it.
Getting back
But we will
back
deal with
to
that,
me.
well, we will deal with that Monday night, and, you know, we're in the position where we may have to put that on the ballot regardless because of what happened in South Burlington court case there. But, just to finish that, I think that, you know, there are people who criticize the plane itself, the F-35, but that's a decision that's made elsewhere. I mean, if they're going somewhere, that decision's been made, it's a settled issue. Again, for people who think that that plane is not appropriate, that's a decision that's made in Washington and not really here. But, so just to finish my thing, I think that we need to continue to work on holding the line on taxes, trying to find a way to reduce taxes. In Burlington, our credit rating has been improved dramatically in the last few years after a really rough time. Many people remember the Burlington Telecom issue where our credit rating was downgraded. We have met all of our financial projections in the city. We've had surpluses now. We have exceeded the unassigned fund balance objectives that we've had. And so I have proposed, and we're gonna get a report back from the administration in the next couple months, looking at ways to reduce property taxes, even if it's only by a little bit. I think it at least changes the trend of going up and up and trying to actually go the other way. I think it's time that citizens shared in the success that the city's having. If we're gonna continue to have surpluses, let's return some of that money to the citizens of Burlington. We also are gonna look at either phasing out or doing away with the business personal property tax. It's been a real burden on small businesses and some large businesses that we wanna keep in Burlington, like Dealer.com, Burton Snowboard, and others. And even here in the New North End, Simple Routes has said it's a very big problem for them. We're one of the few municipalities in the state that still has that. It's a tax on machinery and equipment, and so hopefully we will soon be getting rid of that. So anyway, I'm looking forward, hopefully, to continue to work on those issues and appreciate your support.
I make a motion that we endorse, Kurt is right.
And I will second that.
All right, chair seconds. All in favor of endorsing Kurt?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks, Pam and John.
So the two present candidates being now endorsed, I'd like to make a motion that the committee endow the chair with the power to endorse a future candidate who could materialize, who intends to run as a Republican, provided that he is consulted first with at least one other officer, being vice chair, treasurer, or secretary, at a minimum one of those.
And we could throw in, you know, Kurt, since he's the standing. I don't know if that would help.
I think if you wanna go with just the city committee officials, it's
Yeah,
good with me.
all right.
Any other amendments on that?
And let me just add in that both the other parties have done that as well. The Democrats
Right.
empowered the chair, so.
I didn't hear anything about a mayoral candidate. Is there one?
Second, did somebody second?
Oh,
we need a second, yeah.
Yeah, should we stay on this then?
Yeah.
And so, okay, so we'll restrict this to city council candidates.
And Karen seconded the motion.
Yes.
Okay.
Alice made the motion.
Okay, so I made the motion, Karen seconded.
All right, so any other amendments or
Okay, so we're only doing city council.
city
Right,
council?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so all in favor of accepting that motion?
Aye.
Aye. All
All
right,
right, perfect.
motion passes.
Motion passes. Oh, so yeah, okay, so I think that is it for the city council. That kind of, yeah, solves that, need for, yeah, kind of to authorize the future city council. So if, the other things weren't quite, critical for quorum.
You want the surveys to be voted under the committee.
Oh, yeah, let's.
Oh, yes.
Now that all the
Yep.
voting's done.
Okay.
And you leave seat, are you on the city, technically on the city committee right now? So we should
Would
budget.
you like to? Yes, it just
There's
means,
no-
it means
there's-
come when you
there's-
want.
Put your burden on you, trust me.
I'm not good at commitments.
No commitments.
Just add
You've
your name to
been
the list.
married before, you're good at commitment.
Sorry, what are your first
No,
names?
I'm
Mike and Kathy.
Animals are my
Mike
thing.
and
Sarback.
Kathy?
Mike and Kathy, sorry
It
about
just
that.
means that if you.
I won't, yes.
All right,
Whatever you
and
gotta do.
Elise? That's great, there's 3 right here. All right. I move to.
Look, my face is on
add
camera,
Elise
right?
Eaton, Mike Sarback and Kathy Sarback, all as committee members.
Second.
All right, so all in favor of, the Sorvex and Lucy Eaton as new committee members?
Aye.
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 All right,
Welcome.
congratulations.
Perfect.
Well,
And you're on the email list, right?
Yes.
Okay, and,
That might be a
are you
Republican,
guys
actually.
on the
Hang up.
email list as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect, great.
All right, I move to adjourn.
Second, third.
All right, so.
so nobody for mayor, huh? We don't have any.
No.
Monday by 5. You want
Candidate
No.
to materialize later.
I'm too hated. With good cause, I'm
No,
hated.
that's not
No,
true.
but, that's a shame because it couldn't, the choices couldn't be any worse.
Yeah, it's, I think it was a difficult,
It's just, I mean,
because
Not to pick
it's
your
gonna be a
poison
big
at this
So very
point.
campaign,
sad.
so it's.
Sad is a good word.
sad is the kindest word I can come up with in public.
Yeah. Sad is,
Disappointing.
Oh, that's a shame.
all right, so all in favor of.
Well, actually, can I just make one comment before we go?
Yeah.
Just, the biggest thing that the city committee can do going forward is, we need more people involved, obviously. And the biggest thing is really that we need to find more candidates in the future, and we need people who want to help candidates run. I mean, that's the biggest thing that the city committee needs to do, is to help the candidates that are running. It's just not encouraging to find a candidate when we don't have enough people to help them run and win. So
I'm
we
willing
need to
to
spread the word and try to get more people involved and people who want to help those candidates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to that point, I think what we've experienced is it's always possible to shake some money loose. Money's always tight, we could always use more, but the bigger thing really is volunteers. I mean, the two of you were great, during Vince's campaign, you were there. Sign waves. Sign waves are big. I mean, Ali had big crowds come out for his sign waves, and it's a visual thing. I mean, it just looks great, and, Ali's
Yeah,
very
big
good at
recognition.
motivating folks, and we want to, do a good job of motivating folks. So the people in this room can be really, really helpful to just come knock on doors, drop waivers, anything that you can do, just show up. That's huge.
I'm willing to help. if
And
you just
ask other
ask
people.
me
Get
how.
after the rest of the committee that isn't here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's
then.
about 20 people
Yeah.
missing.
Well, we added 3, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Is there any committee members from Ward 6? 3.
I don't know.
And
We have a-
Jason's work.
Jason,
So,
yep.
5.
Yeah, several, like, cause Pam is Ward 5, I'm Ward 5.
Right.
But I think on the other thing that's easy is if we could just get some, a lot of people in the city read front porch forum.
Yeah.
So if we could just kind of get some, basic templates for each of the, like 4 or 5 templates around for each of the candidates, and really try to find people in each of those front porch forum neighborhoods in those wards. Like I know mine is, half Ward 5, half Ward 6. I think actually, my Ward 5, I think most of the front porch forum I'm in is in Ward 6.
Okay.
So that's definitely something that we really could use the city committee on, as well as, other people who, are, it's like a very low barrier to entry, and just plug it in your computer, and then, your neighbors will see, that thing, and just even name recognition.
So create some templates and just keep zipping it in there and just changing the templates a little bit. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I was like, I can help kind of create some rough, and you have to probably be short. I mean, 50 words or 100 words or less.
Right.
You don't want to, those really long rambles on Front Porch Forum are just, people just, tend to zip right over them, but if you kind of hit that sweet spot.
There's a fine line between wanting to sound like you're asking or begging for help on a Front Porch Forum, but also putting the word out there that you would, be welcoming of help, because it could send the wrong message to the wrong
Right.
people, or I ran into some people in one of my recent campaigns that said, geez, I wish I would have known you were running until I saw
Right.
your name on the ballot, or I would have been glad to help you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Front Porch Forum's a good place to look for help to run for office, but I do think that, I think that if the committee gets together and, like you say, get some templates together, spread the message, be consistent, be short, be sharp, and just be consistent so that everybody, we're all in the same place.
Here's a good place to start. Go to your polling place and find out from your ward clerk, or even at City Hall, there'll be a listing of who the Republicans, the Democrats, and the Independents are that work at the polling place. And it may be not somebody who has been working that election cycle, the previous one, but they'll have a roster from the last several elections, or even the last year or two. And you can ask for who all the Republicans are, and you can try to reach out to them, or at least ask them if you give them a bunch of postcards with your name on it and your contact information, if you can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to run a campaign, would anybody be interested in helping?
See, I'm about halfway on my signatures, and the problem that I'm finding is when I get in these houses for the signatures, every signature is costing me about an hour and a half. So-
I know, that's.
Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Well, get some of those get some of those volunteers.
So I got a busy next 3 days, and I'll be ready for Monday, but I mean, I'm really getting good feedback, and I mean, the 2 short meetings that I've had with the Republicans, I really feel that we're in a pretty good place, and I think that, what we're supporting is pretty much felt across my ward, and so, I guess, I might have to put a couple more people out, because if I'm gonna stuck for an hour and a half, I'm probably gonna have to put Lisa in.
Say, Fernand just keeps coming back.
I will say, there's a lot of talk about changing demographics out here in the New North End, and it's true. I think it's a good thing. We have a lot of new families that are moving into the New North End, and I know that I certainly am working hard to reach out to those families and to gain their support, and I would expect and hope to gain some of their votes. And we're pleased to see new people move in, and we also love the voters who've been here. So
Yeah.
with that, I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Let's go.
Amen.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.